Welcome back to 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Last we left off, Clover was murdered. So yeah. Are you alright? It was a foolish question, and he knew it. Yes, I think so. Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom. You should get some rest. He lowered June until she was sitting against the bed. She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room: Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered there. Who was the first to find the body? Me. Seven spoke from behind Junpei, and he turned around. Seven's hand was up. Why'd you come to this room? To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey guys, I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom, in the first-class cabin. Come, quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Santa and Lotus showed up real soon after that, but I guess you two hadn't heard me, or something, 'cause you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, you know the rest, right? Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask. Seven, there's one more thing I'm worried about. What's that? When we finished all the puzzles in this room and got the door open, you stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why'd you do that? Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did so that door wouldn't lock, so we could come back to this room. Oh, you think I did it? Well, I don't know. It kinda depends on what you say, doesn't it? Seven sighed and shook his head. Follow me. There were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened the door on the right. Behind the door was a closet. Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it, and gestured toward a small box. The box was small, a metal cube. It was a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei. This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Besides, I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put that plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now? Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it. Nothing happened. It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it. There was one change, however. Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish-brown powder. Rust. Junpei stared at it for a moment. Had someone opened the safe, dislodging the rust? Junpei left the closet, Seven following him back to the bedroom. It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat, frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there. Was there some other clue, perhaps? Anything that might lead him to whoever stabbed Clover? He took his time and examined the room carefully. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5. Behind that door was the dead body of the 9th man. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case. Quietly, he pushed the door open. The smell hit him like a blow to the face. His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled up from the base of his stomach, turning what little food there was into a violent froth. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile spattered onto the floor. He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remained of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk, prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the broken mass of the man's head lay his glasses, cracks splattering across the lenses. The bloodstains near them had already dried, like scabs on the floor. That was when he noticed. It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. It had been there when Junpei had gone through door 5 before. He was sure of it. Right next to the glasses. But now... Wait. Clover had something bulging out of her jacket. It was the bracelet. It was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone. But why? Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice. Huh? Where'd Junpei go? And it drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway. Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway? Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room. Did you find something? He thought for a moment before he responded. No, nothing. Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to find hadn't been there. The 9th man's bracelet. What's up? Well, I wanted you to take a look at something. What is it? Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom. As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip, and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips. What was it you wanted to show me? His voice was hollow and empty. I searched Clover's body again. I found this. As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head, then knelt down and flipped open her right hand. What? She was holding a piece of paper. I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know. Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing. He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. The paper was more important. He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it. Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. What is this? Some kind of secret code? Seven peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note. The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means... left? I recall something about the left at some point. Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms. And left hand. The left hand. What did the left hand mean? Junpei looked at his own left arm. At the bracelet on his wrist. Did the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet? He examined the bracelet closely. There were two protrusions on either side of the face, the left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left, right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth, gone. It sounded funny, but it didn't mean truth, gone. Maybe those two words. Reading it out loud. Truth gone, truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Now truth is asleep, darkness in the sinister hand. Okay, gone in truth. Gone had truth. Gone had truth. Gone had truth. Now. Reading it backwards. What? Gone had truth. That's basically what it just did. Two of them are the exact same thing. What else? What else could gone in truth mean? Truth, of course, meant something that was correct, something that was fact. In other words, something that was right. It would follow then that gone meant left. After all, after someone left, they were gone. In this case, however, they clearly referred to the direction of opposites. So that means truth equals right, gone equals left. That seemed to make sense. Junpei looked at the bracelet again. At the two protrusions on the left and right of the face, Junpei. Cross them in the following order. Alright, so truth had gone. Truth had gone. Truth had gone. So right, left, right, right, left. Right. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And then... What? Huh. He changed his number. One after another, 8 numbers splashed on, then off, the face of Junpei's bracelet. He checked one more time to be sure. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. That's going to be needed at some point. I bet you. Well, I do have a pencil. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Huh? Hey, what are those numbers? Junpei didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he was sure that he would forget the numbers and the order they came in if he said anything. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed toward the bedroom. Wait. Could that be the code? Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the ones he just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? 143842342. Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him. 1 to the right, 4 to the left, 3 to the right, 8 to the left, 3 to the right, 4 to the left, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Finished. Junpei heard the small telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it open, or up. Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding. Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact 1. The nonary game was played once before, 9 years ago. Fact 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. 2 was Snake, right? Fact 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceutical CEO, Gentaro Hongo, Cradle Pharmaceutical Chief of Staff, Nagisa Nijisaki, Cradle Pharmaceutical R&D Supervisor, Teruaki Kubota, Majority Shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceutical, Kagachika Masashi. Jesus Christ. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive, that innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth. 0. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, 7, and June. He looked at each other, one of them in turn, and slowly placed his hands in the pockets of his vest. Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me? Come with you. I want all of you to go to the big hospital room. Why? There's something I want to be sure of. What do you want to be so sure of? I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit. Wait, then you're saying? Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover. Well, Snake, quotation marks. The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by attention like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. 5 sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to notice. Anyway, if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there. Then, almost as if on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase. The bell rang 5 times, and ceased. It was 5 o'clock. They had only an hour left. We don't have a lot of time. Let's go. Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom. Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me. Junpei stopped in front of door 3 and turned around. Ace, 7, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red? Huh? Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just... No. We're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door. Why? Please. Just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover. Junpei's implication was clear, and 7 understood perfectly. Fine. What about you, Ace? Lotus? Very well. Sure. Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red's display panel. Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, and instead only brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk appeared, just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so long as the bracelet was near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And and the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June joined them as well. It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity playing on their faces. Before long, the other three did as well. Clearly, they were all expecting some answers. Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation. Clearly, they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued. By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something? What is it? Do you know who I am? What? What kind of question? Just answer it, please. Who am I? You're Junpei. Of course, who else would you be? Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa. What? Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued. The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei, and the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap. That's ridiculous. Impossible. So you're saying I'm not Santa? Of course you aren't. Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 19 would be 10. The digital root would be 1. The 4 of us just opened the door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3. It's 5, right? Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei. You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5. As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist. It's not red. The watch is red, but 5's blue. Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was ridiculous. But I guess you can see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. Is there justification for why I'm not Santa? I mean, the first thing that would come to anyone else's mind would be their bracelet. Wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace. You have prosopagnosia. Am I right? Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, and so did Ace. You could hear a sudden buzz of conversation from the others. Prosopagnosia? What's that? You heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them, and turned back toward Junpei and sighed. Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this is about? You want to mock me for my disorder? No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No. The reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia. Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds. I'll just come right out and say with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.